Alright guys, Supreme Kami here. So in this video, we will be talking about Umi and Gnonno. So let's kind of take a look at my physical attack first. So pretty much 25k, so it's not bad. In terms of what we want to do, we will be running a parse for in this setup, switching off from Umi and then Gnonno to see which one of the two is better. If you are someone like me, only having Umi at 1 star, because Umi at 1 star is pretty copium. There's not much you can do for support until you get the 3 stars, so it's quite the hefty investment. So let's say you have a 1 star and then you also have Gnonno at 1 star. I would say it's kind of like the bare minimum because the shield is good. Having a shield obviously is really good. So what do you do in a situation where you have this? So we will run a quick parse to see which one of the two is better, and then while we at it, we can just kind of discuss, show you guys the rotation and whatnot. So the other two, we have Fiona, pretty much max out. Her matrix C's are going to be as follows, so 3 star for everything. As far as Claudia, so her weapon is now on standard, so I do assume this one, quote unquote, free to play. I did wait 2 weeks, so last week I bought 2 copies and this week I bought 2 more copies, so that's why it's now at 5 star to get that support after using a skill. As far as mixing tree, we will be using 3 star 2-piece Lin because that's pretty much going to be very good effectively. So this one may be a little bit more of the outlier because not everyone may have 2-piece Lin and max out, and just kind of toss in the good old Samir because this one's some stat, not necessarily care about what her 2-piece actually does. Right, so that's pretty much the setup. As far as what I'll use for Gnonno, and then for Umi, we'll be using the what is it, Habella, whatever the name is. I'm probably butchering the name so bad. I'm just gonna apologize on that note, but this one is good. Pretty much good to go for a free to play. Not bad. One off view, one on the actual current weapon, so we're good to go. So let's kind of hop over to some parts and see what we can expect. Alright, so here we are going to be doing a side-by-side part comparison. Left hand side we have a Gnonno, right hand side we have Umi. So as far as the Gnonno team, the rotation is fairly simple. The sub skill, I am going to be using Maelstrom for the physical ultra buff whatnot. So rotation wise, we started with Fiona's skill, hop over to Claudia to use her skill, and then pretty much auto attack with Gnonno until I hit 13 seconds cooldown left on the Maelstrom, and then pretty much discharge, use skills, hop over to Claudia, use her skill, and then go back to discharge with Gnonno, and then press the skill and auto attack once again. The only negative, I guess, probably on my fault is like the endurance felt really slow as far as recharging it. So there are times once I got to the third rotation of this over here, like doing this for the third time, you guys can see that my endurance never really came back to the first full bar, which this kind of hindered me doing the auto attack. But in terms of the Umi team, I'll definitely have to say is the fact that you do have to watch out for the magic time show gauge, which is pretty much why I have to do 2 full rotation of hopping back to Claudia to use her skill and discharge twice with Fiona before I can go back into Umi, because it takes a while for the magic time show to engage to fill back up. So that's why I feel like the damage drop off is definitely from there, because I never really used her skill that much. And ultimately in terms of the damage difference, I want to say it's roughly about 10 million, so it's pretty much not the biggest deal honestly. But there you guys go as far as the parts comparison. Alright, so final portion of this video, we will be taking on the JOs over here. So in terms of the setup that I'm running, I am running a double archer plus Gnonno, because in terms of her perks, she gives an additional 15% final damage output when you have 2 other weapons that are not physical. So that's why this one is actually a very great setup. So don't mind me, just being a little bit of a small if you will, in this setup. In terms of this overall team, I do think that Gnonno, to me, I consider her a better version of Lara, because she's also like Lara is able to do like the auto punching, but in terms of this one, we get the shield. where Lyra doesn't really have. There are definitely some instances where I literally die in the newest sequential. I'm just like, if we would have had the same functionality for Lara, that would be like, oh my gosh, like really really good. So that's why I do like this a lot more better. Just the ability to survive is very great for just free to play, right? In terms of things to kind of micromanage or just to manage is definitely the Octo Whip. The Octo Whip does give you 30 counts or 30 instances where you are able to attack with the whip, but from time to time I would feel like in terms of before finishing the auto attack with Gnonno, I feel like the whip just kind of like disappear because I ran out of charge already. So if you do want an additional 15 more instances to use the whip, consider going for a higher investment. But if not, just kind of consider discharging a little bit more to maintain that. I think that may be something you want to do. But I think in terms of the double alter the team, I don't find that as much of an issue when I have two physical weapon. I think it's just how with more physical weapon it's you can drain it faster or whatnot. So with this team I don't find it a problem at all. So this team is definitely something I would recommend as well, because this is a very very easy team to run. You get higher base stats when you check your character stat whatnot. So you also do get more damage output for Gnonno's uniqueness. So that's why I do feel like this team overall is definitely really fun. And you guys can see that I am consistently on a very very low health pool, but that does not matter because we are able to have that shield pretty much active throughout her auto attack right here. So that's why I do consider if you want to pick up something that's a little bit more free to play friendly, being able to sustain, not dying like 24/7 when you are doing events and whatnot as a free to play, this is definitely something to kind of go for. As far as things you want to use alongside with it, I think right now having Cloudy in the center pool is definitely a great pickup. Being able to buff your overall team and then just providing that support to the physical overall team is definitely really great. As far as the Matrix C, I don't personally something that you would want to pick up in a way. I just feel like the value is low. I know that in terms of the conditions what it's offering is great, but I feel like if the number was higher that'd be great, right? So I just rather stick to something that's standard, like the new two standard pieces, the standard matrices. I think those are good fill in already. If you do have the funds to go for the 4-piece, definitely do go for it. 2-piece is definitely not recommended. 4-piece, if you do need to get it, get 4-piece because you do get the 40% less consumptions when you are using the auto attack. But other than that, that's pretty much what I have to say about Gnonno. Until then, I'll catch you guys all on the next one.